Shri Gurave Namaha. Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Hari Om. Today we are in Pune. In a very beautiful complex. We are enjoying very beautiful weather in Pune now. For the last 15 days, it has started to rain and maybe too much rain. And it is somehow compensating for the lack of rain before. The satsang is not exactly just to hear to Guruji we come here. We come here to be together, to meditate together, and to be together in silence. Now, we find that many people stay together. For years they stay together, but they don't have silence together. They are always in some activity. Husband and wife, always in activity. They are always thinking about something or the other, to accomplish something or the other. We come here not so much to be with Guruji, as to be with ourselves in silence. Secondly, to be with your family members, your friends, to be in silence. This particular time and place is not available always. This is a special occasion we create for ourselves. Every week, at least for 1 or 2 hours, to develop more and more love with the people around us. This love develops. People don't know how love develops. I too did not know how love develops. What is the secret of love? How one becomes more and more loving. How to increase the love between any two people. Even in family, we get into so many differences. No, it has to be this way. No, that has to be that way. I like it this way, you don't like it this way. Always there is a problem of adjustment. So, how to make ourselves more and more loving is probably not a topic that has been investigated throughout the history of man. And we happen to somehow get at this secret of where love develops. This is probably the first and foremost place in the world where we are developing the science of love. If you see the philosophical history of the world, especially if you read Socrates, Aristotle, Plato, you will find only a lot of confusion as far as what is love, what is beauty. You must read the works of Plato, works of Socrates. It was total confusion. Whenever anybody opened some topic, Socrates would ask the question, please tell me, sir, what is love? what is beauty, then people would just keep quiet. They didn't know what to say. So the whole of the West, even today, is suffering from lack of love, looking for love. They don't understand love. India seems to be the only place that understands love. Maybe today Indians may not understand. We cannot say that they generally understand. But we have outstanding examples of love. What makes the difference between two cultures is how many people love. How many people stand as examples of love. A saint is someone who loves everyone. Number of saints decides the quality of that culture. By that standard, India stands out very, 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 very high of all the countries in the world. We have got the greatest amount of saints in the world. Almost every street has a saint. Somebody told me when I was in Vancouver some time back, if there is an Olympic game for producing saints, India will stand out 1,000 miles apart from all the countries in the world. So he asked, how come India only produces saints? And what is really saintliness? Saintliness, some people may define it by so many siddhis. More than all the siddhis, the most important one is unquestionable love for everyone, being able to forgive totally and to start new and do not hold anything of the past. Start fresh, just like as if you have met the first time in your life. And with complete Atma-Atma Sambandha, total soul-to-soul relationship. And even if the other person does not understand, the power of the saint is so much that he feels that he is cared for, he is looked after. He becomes a child in front of the saint. Just like everybody else, in front of Jesus, everybody became a small child. So of that, champions all from India. And to experience this, people should come to India. Not for getting a good infrastructure, big roads, big complexes, very good facilities, good bathrooms, good latrines. People should come to India just to experience the sights. In their presence, everything is forgotten. So this is where the satsang is. Satsang is mainly to experience that saintliness within ourselves. To become saints ourselves. To forget, forgive, again become small children. Forget about all the worries, all the problems of the world. More number of people in a satsang, the more supported, more wonderful they feel, more free. So it is for that purpose that we come together, not just to hear to Guruji. We have just started the process, but Guruji is not important, but your presence is important. Not just your presence, but bringing your family, bringing your friends, being with here with them for doing nothing is very important. Hello? These satsangs must grow. In most of the satsangs, they preach something. I find that preaching is not important. Being silent together is very important. Taking time to be silent, to get rid of all your anxieties, all your problems. It takes a few minutes to distance yourself from all this nonsense and just become a child again, which is the most wonderful part of our life. Huh? You all agree or not? Yes. Huh? Some of you have been attending satsangs. You know, not only satsangs, it all starts with our retreats, where you are with people for 3 days, few days together, for doing nothing. Then you see how much how much you develop in love. Now, if all of us understand why we come to this satsang, this is a very special satsang in the world. I am required only for to start it up. Just like starting motor for the automobile, you need to turn it and then the motor starts, then it shuts off by itself. The motor is on its own. Like that, I am only the ignition, starting. You must not depend upon Guruji for this satsang. You must all develop your own satsang. Invite your people, especially those who are come for the retreat. They understand what an amount of change can take place, which they never experienced in their life. Same thing can happen if we all come together. After having that experience, it is very obvious that being silently together dissipates everything. But just coming for the satsang also is not enough. To grow in love, you need to come for the advanced meditation courses. Come once in 2 months for at least 3 days. You must take off once in 2 months just to rejuvenate yourself, to go up on the scale of love. Do you agree or not? Huh? It is good to come once a month, but it may be too difficult for you now once a month. But at least once in 2 months, certainly people can come if they make up their mind and they put their thing. Just like you go to work, you must also come to increase your love quotient. You must become more and more loving. I don't think there is anything greater than to become more and more loving. All your wealth is of no use without love. No, wealth is only problem. Wealth is only problem. Wealth creates problem. But wealth can also create lot of wonderful things. If you improve, if you add a love to it. If you add love to your wealth and you share that wealth with more and more people, greater and greater wealth will develop. The amount of wealth will increase enormously with love. multiplies million times with love. More love you put in to your wealth, the more wealthy it becomes. If two people share their wealth, they automatically become double rich. They don't have to earn double. By just introducing love, the wealth has doubled. By having three people love each other, share each other, the wealth is tripled. If 100 people come together and share, it becomes 100 times without doing anything, by only adding love. Correct now? If you understand this side, then all your wealth will become more and more wealth. Tremendous wealth. So those of you who understand what I am telling will create a pool of wealth, a pool of love. Whole world can be beautiful and wonderful. Everybody is quarreling for wealth. Everybody is quarreling for wealth. It looks like that. Actually, people are not quarreling for wealth. Actually, they are quarreling for love. But people can see what they see with their usual senses. Love is a different sense. These panchandriyas are a different sense. What you see with your eyes, what you see with your nose, what you see with your tongue is only panchandriyas and they are very objective. But love is very subjective. To see the same food served with love, appreciating the love with which it has been served is a different sense. This is the fifth sense, the sixth sense. Developing the sixth sense. Developing the sixth sense is very important. Actually, nobody is quarreling for wealth. It appears like that. Actually, everybody is quarreling for love. But that is very difficult to see. Why we had just now very big problem in Assam, very big destruction. What was destroyed? Property was destroyed. For what? Lack of love. Bombay yesterday, hundreds of buses, lot of public property was destroyed. For what? Lack of love. So everybody is wanting love. Do you understand this or not? So police bandobast is not so critical as getting along with each other with love. All religions teach us how to live with love. But how to develop love, nobody teaches. Actually, they teach also, but nobody practices. And that practice is love, being silent. Silent is one thing which we don't see. What we hear is noise. Nobody hears silence. But those who have learned to hear silence, they are the exalted ones. They are the lucky ones in the world. When you add silence to anything, it enhances in value. Why you pay so much in a five-star restaurant? Because of the silence. Or else you can be sitting on the outside dhaba with big trucks coming, darbar, no silence. So to sit quietly, people pay a lot of money. When you go to the mountain top to be silent, but people who are living in the mountain top, they want to come down to the busy street. So, if you understand this, I am sure that you will not need Guruji. You must set it up yourself, for your own sake, for the sake of the people around you. All communities must spend at least some time together in silence to establish mutual love. Muslims do it very well. Of all the religious groups today, Muslims do it best. They at least take that Friday namaz very seriously. They go there and be there together. Why can't we do it? If you are grihastha, you must compulsorily come for this 10:30 to about 12 o'clock. 2 hours silence together. You must come together. These satsangs are not about who is better than whom. It is about just enhancing your love. In many religions, this has taken on a little often. And so these satsangs are used for claiming that we are better than others and creating more problems. So let these satsangs not turn into that kind of superiority, inferiority complex. Just be about being silent, enhancing our love for everyone in the world, and not telling that other people are bad and we must kill them and this and that. All nonsense. Misuse of religion. Religion is to improve our love. And that never happens by talking, it only happens by staying silent. So after all my talking, unless we go into silence and be together in silence, enhance our silence, this satsang has no value. My talk is of no value. Let this be only ignition for improving our love. And being together, it automatically increases our wealth. Wealth is nothing but when exchange of resources happens, wealth is created. When exchange of resources happens, then you have wealth. A person has wood Another person has grain. A person with grain cannot eat without the wood, and the person with wood cannot eat the wood, he requires the grain. When two people exchange, then wealth is created for both. And this exchange happens very easily with love. All of economics, measurement of GDP growth, this growth, that growth, is all because of exchange. How easily the exchange takes place. If people get frightened and they don't exchange and they start saving instead of spending, then the whole economy comes down. The whole idea is to exchange. Whatever you have, you give it to the other person. Whatever that other person has, he gives it to you. Then there is growth. More you give, more you grow. Savings is not good. Spending is good. Saving is only by people who are afraid. Giving away is by people who have no fear. That is why the ultimate wealthy person, he is not Bill Gates. The ultimate wealthy person is a person who doesn't worry about wealth. He has left it to God and doesn't worry and gives away everything all the time, and being a zero and not be afraid and experiencing so much wealth. Experiencing so much wealth. He is the richest person. A person who lives on zero money, zero saving, and they say, who is the wealthiest person? What is his asset? He has got so many billions of dollars. That means he is afraid by so many billion dollars. Bill Gates is the poorest person because he is having so much fear of losing his wealth. Okay. All rich people are poor people. But the real rich one is one who is not afraid, who doesn't save. If you are able to save, that means you are afraid. So that is why in our book, Live Life King Size on an Empty Wallet, is a challenge to Bill Gates. Let him live like that, he will become a saint. A great challenge. See, we have a word in English, in Sanskrit, which is the most important word probably in the entire Indian civilization. There is one very, very, very important word for which there is no equivalent in English language. There are many words which does not have equivalent, but this particular word, even if you combine 1,000 English words, it will not come to that value of that word. That word is called Vairagya. Vairagya is a word which Indians understand. Why they understand is only because they are in contact with saints. Only that person who is in contact with a saint comes to understand what is Vairagya. Or else it is all business transaction. Vairagya is a state of being without being in business. All other transactions are all business transactions. So in America, we cannot ever teach spirituality the way we know it in India. Because they don't have science, they don't have the experience, they can't understand. And whatever experiences they get out of meditation and everything, they are always at the bottom line. They want to find out how this is going to make them rich. They always go, if they do something, the bottom line is how they are going to become rich. How much richer, the bottom line should show. Our bottom line is zero. Unless you are able to go to zero, you don't have vairagya. So the opposite of that is what the West is taking. This is the most important discovery of mine. Why we cannot teach spirituality to Americans? Because they are all bottom line people. Our bottom line is zero. Their bottom line is billions of dollars. So they always try to measure that which cannot be measured. How can you measure zero? Okay. Anybody is able to measure zero? If you try to measure, that itself is not possible. With what will you measure zero? Oh, this is a paradox. This can only be resolved by the experience of being happy for no reason. Okay. This must be confusing to many of you, our terminology. Being happy for no reason. Because everybody thinks he is happy because he gets some money, he gets some big flat, he is very being happy for no reason means no measurement, no comparison. If you compare yourself with somebody, then you can certainly be not happy. If you compare with anybody, that shows that you are not happy. How do you measure this? Very interesting question. That particular being able to go into zero is the gift to man of all the animals in the world, of all the creation so far. The ability to go into zero, at least for some time, and increasing the time of being in zero is the real development of man. It is not GNP, it is not number of houses you have or the number of latrines you have in your house. All Americans home have 2 or 3 latrines and it is considered very advanced. This is all unnecessary measurement. once you start measuring yourself, you must be poor. Because you are starting from being poor, you will never become rich. Because no matter how much you have, if you start measuring how much more I have or how much less I have, you are poor. They are always trying to have more than what they have. So instead of wasting your time competing with others, I was just looking at this Olympic year, for which the whole world is focused. I used to think something great of these Olympics one year back. Even I was a fool. Until 1 year back, I used to give a lot of credence to this Olympic performance. Oh, what a performance, what a performance. All West doesn't improve anything. All West. Olympics is full of bullshit. West. It is full of disappointment. Olympics is a game of disappointment. If you want to be most disappointed, you try to become an Olympic champion. Waste of energy to beat somebody.